I'm Rajiv. Today we are in Chicago at the world's leading harp manufacturer, Lyon Healy. This instrument is something that I have dreamed of playing for a long time. I have my good friend Caroline with me, and we're here to tour this wonderful factory where these incredible instruments are still made by hand the old way. We are here with Catherine Oliver, who is sales manager at Lyon Healy, and she is going to be our tour guide for the day. I think it's kind of rare for people to actually have encountered a harp in real life, and I have to say that's what did it for me. The first time I actually saw someone play the harp in the flesh, it was just this mind-blowing experience. Their hands like flitting across the strings, but then that sound, that incredible sound, being right there in the same room as you, it's really compelling.
I think there's something to be said for like the actual, like not just the appearance, but also the vibration.
Yeah, you feel it.
Like you feel it, like there's something about hearing a harp in person.
I don't know if anybody out there knows that America is the leading manufacturer of harps in the world. And right here, Lyon Healy goes back to the 1800s, right?
Yeah, so 1889, we made our first harp. Behind us here is a replica of that first harp.
This one?
Yes.
So if you had to sum up the steps of making a harp, where would we start?
So we would start in wood selection. Called the parts department. So this is where we're going to make the individual pieces of the harp, the columns, the bases, and the bodies.
Frank, nice to meet you. Caroline's a harpist. I'm just going to ask you questions.
I'm not was prepared.
That's good, that's perfect. Nie ma problemu.
Nie ma problemu. Bardzo dobrze.
These are the rough pieces of wood, how they arrive.
This is like a rough which come to us.
This is how it comes to you, and this is the wood you're going to use for the soundboard?
Yes.
Like what affects how you pick up the wood?
You have to pick up, make sure it's no crack, the grain is like here, straight grain. This is the grain wider, but it's still good, and this one is very tight grain, which is tighter grain is better.
It's better?
Make better sound.
And Frank, this is the body of the harp, right?
Yes.
And it kind of looks like a boat almost, like a canoe.
Yes.
Now,
you can try swimming it.
Can I try swimming? Yeah, paddle?
This is the spruce.
Yes.
Sitka spruce, the grain is going this way.
Yeah. Okay,
Why does
not
it matter
this
which way the grain goes?
Because it's flexible, but it's, protect from cracking.
Do you know how much pressure is on the soundboard from the string?
2,000 pounds.
2,000 pounds
Yes,
of pressure.
it's a lot.
Amazing.
It's a lot.
Wow.
Yes.
That is amazing. And then this is where the strings will eventually come out of. So the strings will come up here.
This is why it's make like the thicker and thinner.
Oh, it's thicker down
here. It's tapering because it's of the strings.
For the pitch.
Yeah.
So if you think about the harp, the small strings that have the higher pitch are up at the top.
Exactly.
And as you get to the bottom, you get the thicker strings
that are metal, right?
Some of them it goes from nylon to gut to steel. Yeah.
Okay. Some are nylon at the top.
Right.
Some are metal at the bottom. But the ones in between are made of gut. Right?
They are. So they're made out of a cow gut.
Yeah.
It's a very traditional material. Gut strings have been around for a very long time. They found them, even in Mesopotamia on prehistoric harps. But they're a very durable and resonant material that's easily found in nature.
And it does affect the sound, right?
It does. It's a very warm sound. There's a depth to the color of sound that you can't find in a nylon string.
Yeah, so just to give perspective, when I play the harp, this is the part that I lean back against my body, and these spaces here, you'll still have open spaces here. So this whole body stays hollow, and that's your sound box. That's where all the resonance happens.
Look at that. Look at how nicely this fits. How do you do it? Where did you learn this, Frank? Like, where did you learn how to do this?
I am carpenter.
Yes.
I learned in Poland for 6 years.
Okay.
And come here and start working in the wood.
This is my favorite part because wood comes from a living thing. These were trees. These were alive.
And it's alive.
It's still alive. Exactly.
Never die.
Exactly.
Never die.
So what's fascinating for me is to have both of you here. Instruments, you bring them to life, and then someone like Caroline keeps them alive.
parts department. And now we are on the third floor where some of those parts are further refined. Behind us, we're seeing hand carving.
Carving is so specific and so detailed. Like, there's nowhere to hide any flaws.
Yeah.
It feels like to be able to do something like this, you really need to know what you're doing, right?
Definitely. Some of our employees have worked here over 25 years, up to 40.
Wow.
And so the patterns are almost like inside their mind. They're following a template because they've done it so many times before, but then also using their own taste and responding to the wood.
Raul, how long have you been working here?
Almost 32 years.
32 years,
Yes,
wow.
32 years.
Well, carving is something that's very dear to me because I carve as a
Okay.
hobby. And I have my little setup at home with my chisels.
Really?
And I have a little horse that I put on the table that I carve against. But to see this, to see the beauty, can you tell us about your tools? You sharpen them, like how often do you have to keep them sharp?
2 hours for week.
Really?
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
hours?
Yes.
Of sharpening?
Yeah, everything.
Oh,
Everything.
to sharpen
Yeah,
everything.
right.
May I pick one up?
Sure.
So here's the thing about a tool. If it's sharp, if a chisel is really sharp, when you touch it, it should make your it should make your they have to be really sharp, right?
Yes.
Just go like this.
No!
Just do it. Just put your finger there. Just do you see what I
That
mean?
feels a little scary.
It makes you just go like but this is so important to your job, right? Sharp
Yes.
tools?
Yes. Very important.
Can I try?
Sure. Why not?
Carrie, am I allowed to try? She said I can try.
Okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
you show. Okay, you
Okay.
show me what to do, and I'm gonna try doing it.
Okay. You can do it like this. See? This is small.
Okay. It's hard. What is this?
This is maple.
Oh, so it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's. And then you go through. You turn the
Right.
chisel,
Right.
and you go this way
Yeah.
to clean it up, right?
Wait, like that. Good job.
Great. Where's my paycheck? Look at that.
Yeah.
It's
nice.
clean because it's sharp.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you
You're
for
welcome, no
this
problem.
is an honor to just have a few little notches on a Lyon Healy harp. I never ever thought I would be allowed to do this, so thank you.
You're welcome.
I was just gonna watch you work.
So you would have to know these designs really well.
Yeah, you don't have a pattern book or anything.
I
Like,
can remember it.
you have it
Amazing.
memorized?
That's
Yeah.
amazing. To know all of these intricate little details. It's beautiful, Raul.
Thank you.
So Raul, you're carving the column right now.
Right.
Do you specifically carve all the parts for that one harp?
Yes.
So each carver works on all the parts for one harp.
Yes.
Like you don't move it around because it needs to match, right?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, is that every one of these wonderful carvers up here has subtle differences in the nuance to the carving that they assign all the parts of that harp to one carver. So somebody else isn't doing the feet, you're doing all the parts.
Right.
Wow.
So this is our action department. This is an assembly line style manufacturing process. So each individual bench is going to have a particular task, but each task that relies on the one before it.
Wow. So Catherine, this is the mechanism of the harp, right? Like at the very top of the harp is this brass plate. There's a lot going on in there,
there's
right?
1,500 moving parts.
Wow. So this is what I think people don't even realize, is that so much is, like when I'm watching Caroline play, I'm watching her hands.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's watching her hands, and people don't see that she's doing all these things with her feet.
And this is what we're counting on as a harpist, that you are looking at our hands.
Yeah.
You're not looking at our feet. Our feet are moving underneath everything.
So can we just tell everybody what happened? So you're playing something,
Yes.
and the key changes.
Right.
Where C major and time we change, I don't even know my music theory, so I'm not even gonna try to attempt to say what it changes to.
G.
Changes to G.
Right.
What happens?
So I like to explain it as if it's the white keys on a piano.
Okay, we're playing like
Right. So the strings are like the white keys on a piano, and then
Yep.
you have the black keys for the sharps and flats.
Okay.
So what you don't see on the harp are those sharps and flats, and
Yep.
that's what our feet are doing. So our feet are moving amongst the pedals, giving us those sharps and flats. And so as a harpist, we're counting on that mechanism to go from your feet through the column of the harp up to the top of the harp and then turn those tiny discs. And those tiny discs press on the string, shortening it slightly to increase the tone.
Wow.
So that's where you're getting the change in pitch.
And this is the technical place where that mechanism comes together. It's like Santa's workshop. Hi Maria.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Can you tell us what you're doing over here?
This is the action of assembly. I have to put 7 lines.
7 lines because we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
You got it.
I'm doing my first grade music theory. I have little books at home.
Okay, so
Caroline's watching over.
I've been doing this for 32 years.
32 years?
Wow.
You've worked here?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Maria, I probably met you when I was 11 to come by my
Maybe,
first
yeah.
pedal harp.
Oh, maybe?
Yeah,
we
Caroline
toured
was
the
here.
I
factory.
started in 1988.
Wow.
So this is going to be the D line, okay?
And then what happens when she presses the rod?
This happens. This is the next line. So this is the C line.
That's C.
And then the rest of them.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
So that is the foot of a harp,
Yeah,
right?
this is the foot. What I do is I grab my little book of gold here.
And this is 22 karat gold, right? Or is this 24?
It's almost 24. It's like 23 and something karat gold.
The gold is so thin, it's pounded so thinly that even a little draft can lift it up and just carry it across the room. This right here is called a gilder's tip, which is a brush made of squirrel hair, right? And it's used to pick up the gold. The way you pick up the gold is by picking up some static on your face. Do you put Vaseline on? Or like,
No.
no, so you just pick up some static and then that picks up the gold.
Get this water and glue solution. Just paint it on right there. And then lay that on. Tap it down. And it should adhere. It usually takes about an hour or so
Okay.
for it to dry. And then afterwards, I would take a little cotton ball and
Yep.
just kind of rub off that excess.
So this is what the gold looks like when it goes on. It's matte like this. And then can you show us a burnishing tool?
Sure. This is an agate stone.
So that's an actual agate. That's a polished piece of stone that is specifically made for this purpose. And then that's taken and
And I would just rub it on the piece that's meant to be burnished. And it'll go from this matte gold to then this mirror finish.
wow. That's incredible. And what's so beautiful about this is that you don't burnish everything.
No.
You have areas that are matte and you have areas that are burnished, and sitting in contrast against each other is what makes the different parts of the carving pop out, right? Well, thank you so much for showing us this part of the process. This is something that is really sentimental to me because I've been doing this at home just for fun for many, many years.
Yeah.
So to be in this room with the columns all over covered in gold, it's a thrill. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So behind us we have master harp makers.
Yeah, master harp makers. What they're doing is taking those individual pieces that were below us, being made, so the column, the body, the base, and then they're also going to be adding a neck.
So the people that are working here are kind of bringing the harp to life by putting all the components together.
Correct.
Because everything is handmade, this is where not only are they putting all the pieces together, but they're tailoring each one to that specific harp.
Correct.
You are a master harp builder, right? technically? That's what they call. That's what they told me.
Yes.
They said he's a master harp builder.
I'm still learning.
You're still, well, we're always still learning. I think that's the fascinating thing. How long have you been doing this, Jarek?
In this place, in particular, for a 27th year.
27th year. That's amazing. So the parts are made downstairs, and then they're brought up to you, and you actually fit everything together, right?
Exactly. We use the triangle, which gives us the right measurements of the first string and the right correct distance to the column.
Oh, it has to be exact.
Exactly. The angle, as you can see on the column, is a little bit forward. That's this way.
So it's not straight.
It's not straight.
You
no.
set the column off on an angle.
Exactly.
Because it's going to slowly move over?
Angle. That's right.
Wow.
We are working on the neck. So I'm going to pull it out.
Wow.
So
It just
that's the neck.
May I hold this, please?
Sure, of course.
Wow. So are you actually are you actually fine-tuning the shape of some of these things? Like, are you actually cutting
yes,
away sometimes?
We also using a pattern that has to be accurate for each harp.
Yes.
Exactly. But it's like handwriting, you know. You have different handwriting.
Yep.
Like me, so you know, it's up to you how you're gonna shape it, but you have to follow some certain rules.
And then it fits in almost like a jigsaw puzzle.
Can I try to fit it in?
Sure, of course.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So this
First,
goes
gonna put it into the column.
from up
that's right.
here. I'm scared. Wow.
Next step would be.
May I look at this chisel?
Sure, of course. Don't cut yourself.
I know. We were just talking about. Oh, there's that feeling again. There's that. It's really sharp. Do you have any of your dad's tools?
Actually, yes. That's the one.
Really? Do you use this here?
Yeah.
Wow.
I learned pottery from a man who's 72,
Oh, okay.
and he has made me tools. And when I hold those tools in my hand, it's very special to me.
Yeah.
That-
So it's
to have
this
a
one.
tool that someone gave you that really taught you how to use something, I don't think there's an equivalent to that feeling. That every day you
Yes,
use
it's
it.
priceless.
It is really priceless. So this was your father's.
That's right.
Look at this. It's so beautiful. I don't know if you feel this way.
Of
but
course.
You work in like a beautiful space.
Yes, it's. Some people could say you get used to it, but every single harp is like a challenge. You know, you have different nuance problems when you can solve it, and every harp sounds different, of course. But it's made with how I can put it.
Love?
With, yes.
We've seen so many people on all these different floors, and they're seemingly disconnected. Like they're all working in their little stations, but they're all connected to each other. Like everybody's job relies on somebody else's job.
Yes.
And that's what's incredible, to see all of the faces
Yeah.
that are connected to bringing it to life. That's really amazing. Now where are we?
Welcome to the 4th floor of Lyon Healy's production facility. We are currently in the finishing and final assembly area of our production. So directly behind us, these are individual parts of the harp drying after they've been finished.
There's something about them looking so finished and being in pieces that makes me very uncomfortable.
It's like a butcher shop. It's like cuts of meat hanging. So we're nearing the end of our tour, and this is where it kind of all comes together. We're here with Bill, who is a master technician, correct?
I am.
All the actual moving parts are assembled and checked.
Yeah, so there's thousands of parts attached to the harp, right? So when I first started, I didn't realize that there were even pedals on the harp. So
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize that. So the action is like the brain of the harp, right?
Yep.
So when you install the action, all the parts connected to it are here. The rods, they travel down here to the bottom, and you've got the pedals and springs and all that stuff.
A part of the process of playing the harp is having the harp regulated, right?
Correct.
Which occurs every couple of years for a harpist, and there aren't a lot of people that know how to regulate a harp. So how does that work?
Right. Some of the people here are interns, and they come in and study for at least a year in our apprenticeship program. And eventually, once they're good enough, they're sent out onto the road, and they can do road regulations for people out all over the United States.
Wow. You've known your regulator for how many years?
Oh my gosh, over a decade.
How many regulators do you have in the United States that you would trust with one of your harps?
I want to say there's maybe 20 to 30 people in all of the United States, so not that many. It doesn't really compare to like piano tuners. It's a very different kind of niche thing.
And
So-
Lyon and Healy has harps in major orchestras, like all over Europe, all over the world. So do you send people all over the world to regulate harps?
Absolutely. Sometimes you've got to travel long distances, Australia, Asia, South America, in order to get the job done.
Wow. What's so nice is that everybody that we've spoken to seems to take real pride in their work.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem like they're just sitting there doing something mundane.
Yeah.
They care about what they're doing. In this age that we live in, where so much stuff is just mass produced and purchased and tossed in the trash, you kind of wonder, are there people out there that really care about what they're making? And the amazing thing about this building is so many people care about what they're doing, and it shows. They're not just instruments, they're like works of art. Caroline has a name for her harp, and
Did you name yours?
my harp is Miss Lyon Healy. So I turn over and hi Miss Lyon Healy, and that's what she's called.
I am a little bit biased because I have the same harp.
Oh,
So
really?
I also have a 30 ebony.
What is
so-
she called?
His name is Danny.
His name?
I know.
Caroline told me they're all girls.
No, mine's tall, dark, and handsome. So.
Danny boy.
Yeah.
Well, this has been like spending a day, like a kid spending a day in a candy store. So let me just put a call out there. Any of you out there who want to become wood carvers for the rest of your life, just trek out here to Chicago and come and speak to these people, and someone will teach you how to carve, and you've got a career for the rest of your life if you're willing to work hard and sharpen those chisels. So what do you think? You think you might like to work in a place like this, learn how to do some fine wood carving, sharpen those chisels? If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you didn't, then I'll But please subscribe for more videos just like this one.
Very nice.
That was bad. Sorry, Gary. Okay.